Hail, and welcome to the finale of the main game of Pokemon Y. In this part, as you can see from this very glorious looking building here, very proud, very excessive building here.
Very blocky.
Well, it's a 3DS, guys, some slack. This is the Pokemon League, and spoilers ahead of time, I'm going to completely sweep this league. This league is a fucking joke. A lot of the time with Pokemon Leagues, it tends to be leveled in a way that you might need to grind up a couple of levels just to stand a fighting chance. Here, I think I'm already about 10 levels above even the highest Pokemon we're going to see here, so...
It's all because of XP share.
It is. We've touched on this a fair bit throughout the playthrough, but we should probably just sum up our thoughts on this, given it's kind of a main feature of the series now. What I will say is the EXP share in its current form I like in concept. It does a lot of good in encouraging you to switch up your team if you so desire, because it's not going to take you as long to grind up a new Pokemon. You can do it as you go. And it also means that you just got less busy work. You don't have to do the, well, gym's coming up, better go drag everyone up a few levels. It cuts out that, and I appreciate it for that. And if it was balanced fairer overall, I feel like it would be a net positive for the series, or just a positive in general, really. The problem that X and Y have is that they didn't really go all in on it. It's a feature you can turn on or off, and it feels like they've still balanced it under the assumption that you're not going to use it, even though it becomes the default. So what that means is that you either have to force yourself to grind up more and artificially make the game have more dead sections, or you turn it on and you're 5 or 10 levels above every main battle. So it's not so much the feature itself that is a problem, it's the way that it's balanced. And I would say, as someone who is a fucking casual scrub, it's not the end of the world to me. I can just completely obliterate everything in my path and still feel good. But I can see why there was a bit of resistance towards it at first. What do you think, Chris?
Well, yeah, as you can turn it off, I suppose. They've still got that, but it's not made it harder, really. It's more grinding, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the main difference. There's a very big difference between what's difficulty and what's time consuming.
Yeah, so it's not really making it harder. They always say about putting difficulties in Pokemon as well, don't they? But they don't really want to do it.
Well, they've done it once, and they didn't bother doing it again. And we did actually look that up, didn't we? That the difficulties were version exclusive for Black, White, and Black and White too.
God, that's stupid.
It really fucking is. Especially the one where you get an easy mode that you have to unlock by beating the normal mode.
Yeah. In Black and White 2, there are difficulty options, but they're unlocked after you've beaten the main game. However, hard mode is exclusive to Black 2, while easy mode is exclusive to White 2.
Oh, you mean mode is
ridiculous. And echoing what Harry just said, why would you replay on easy mode?
Yeah, hard mode I sort of get. I would personally think it'd be better to give you the choice to start with, but I sort of understand the logic of you've beat it on normal, try it again with a harder mode. You can clearly do it, is a step up. But if you're not this way inclined, if you're not as familiar with RPG games, then maybe you are finding this difficult. You gotta struggle through the normal mode to unlock the one you might be able to enjoy. Pokemon is the easiest RPG series out there. Aside from games that are explicitly going out of their way to be easy, say Mystic Quest or whatever, Pokemon, it's just the most bare bones RPG experience. Even before they started casualising it with Gen 6 and 7. Pokemon has always been relatively easy. So, as it stands, I'd say you don't need to go easier. If you want to have a hard mode, which, games like this, I feel like that would be a benefit for a lot of people, that makes sense. But you don't really need to make this any easier than it already is. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Although they did with fucking Let's Go. Let's Go was the same sort of thing. This game, I can sort of give it a pass with the levelling to a certain degree, and the fact that about half of my team are ones I've traded in and trade Pokemon and get boosted experience and whatnot. it's still not balanced, but you can kind of see that part of it is my fault. Let's Go. If you're just fighting the trainers as you see them, you will be over-leveled. Like, no exceptions, you are going to be over-leveled. And not just a little bit over-leveled either. I think when I did my Let's Go playthrough, aside from the final, super bosses, every gym I was probably a good 10 levels above. And you've got the Pikachu or the Eevee, which is OP anyway. So, no one in that game, aside from the post-game bosses, stand a fucking chance. And I know, again, Let's Go, I get it. It's trying to ease people who have played Go into RPGs. But, you're going to want some resistance. If you've just picked up a game from a genre you've never played before and you just win, it doesn't really do much for you, does it?
Yeah. You don't want it too difficult though, because if you're a kid in your first Pokemon game, you've got all this stuff going on.
But then to be fair, my first Pokemon game that I remember playing was Pokemon Silver. And that is a little bit on the low level side, but it's not bullshit you're gonna win by doing nothing.
Yeah,
it's like Pokemon in itself. I feel like we always consider this in the context of just the Pokemon series. If you look at any other RPG, there's a lot more going on than there is in Pokemon. And also the one exception that I mentioned earlier, Mystic Quest. So I've been playing Mystic Quest for my FC Playthroughs channel because it won a poll that I put up, and it is the easiest RPG ever, and that is by design. That was a similar kind of thing back in the day. It's a Super Nintendo game where they were trying. It was Square Enix, or it was just Squaresoft at the time. They were convinced that people outside of Japan were fucking idiots and didn't know how to play video games. So they deliberately made a really easy Final Fantasy spin-off. And it's kind of insultingly easy at some point because you can button mash as though it's a fucking baby's first game. I kind of feel difficulty, to be fair, it's a very difficult thing to get right. You've got to balance everything against everything. And when you've got so many variables like you do in Pokemon, to try and find one that isn't going to just be overpowered or underpowered, it's going to be hard work, but still, there's limits, aren't there?
Sometimes people want sort of overpowered stuff as well.
Yeah, but you can't please everyone, can you?
But how did they make it difficult in the black and white games then?
I think it was mostly a boost in the opponent's levels and smarter AI.
Okay.
I think it was smarter AI, because that's how you would make an RPG harder.
Yeah.
Because, again, you get the thing that if it is just levels, then all that means is you've got to grind more. Whereas if it's AI that's more, sometimes AI does cheat in these games, and I know it cheats, because the way it works in some games, and I feel like Colosseum and XD were really bad with this, where it waits to see what move you're going to pick, and then it tries to counter-pick it. So, the computer has an unfair advantage. To be fair, a lot of games do bullshit stuff like that. If you play a racing game and you see the cars can suddenly catch up with you even though you were miles at the front and they rubber band like that. And the other game that I've caught out before is Sonic Shuffle, which is a Mario Party clone that the same developers made for the Sonic series. And it's based on cards. You pick a card that depends, that tells how many moves you can make in a turn. And you can't see what cards the other players have, but they can see what cards you have. So they always pick the best card from your hand.
God.
Which is great, but again, that game in itself, if you put it on the harder difficulties, then that's kind of what you get into. This trainer here, Drasna, the dragon one, this fucking thing, I never remember it exists.
What?
Dragalaga.
Dragalgi.
Dragalgi, okay, that makes more sense. It looks like it should be a Kingdra Mega Evo or something.
Yeah, I can see that.
And
then again, it's got Skrill, so...
Well, yeah, but just the design itself, I just think it looks a lot it looks too similar to Kingdra to be its own thing, maybe?
No, I can see similarities by the fact that they're both seahorses, but
And-
Dragalge's size is vastly different.
Yeah, but like it's also
And
a
it's also
dragon.
purple, and it's got pieces of algae hanging off of it.
Yeah, so like if it was a different type, I might think.
It's
that-
a dragon poison type.
Yeah, but like I mean, the dragon part is the big point of Kingdra. That's what makes it such a bitch to fight against. Like, fuck Claire's Kingdra, by the way. Still mad. And also, like again in Colosseum, like I believe the highest leveled Pokemon that you fight against is a Kingdra that one of the guys in the Deep Colosseum has. And the Deep Colosseum is like the epitome of filler for a post-game. Because the way that works is that there's one shadow Pokemon that you have to get there. And the way the Deep Colosseum works is that you fight, I believe it's either 4 or 5 guys each round, and at the end of each Colosseum challenge you fight one of the shadow Pokemon trainers, one of the Colosseum trainers. If you your first one you get Mirabee again, the second one you get Takeem again, then you get Venus, then you get Iron. Then on the 5th round of doing this, I think it's 4 trainers in a row, you then get to fight the new trainer who has a new shadow Pokemon that you need to get to fully complete the game. So what that means is that if you want to attempt to get this shadow Pokemon, it's a Shuckle, by the way, so who gives a fuck, but if you want to get that, you have to spend 2.5 hours cycling through, and if you accidentally kill it, then you got to do another 2.5 hours to get through it. And I've done that for the playthrough we did on HFC, and that took me all fucking evening just to get that. And at the end of after a while, I just sort of switched my brain off and just had my own music on, and was just I can Pokemon, just keep going, giving me the Shuckle already, because it's just so time consuming. But yeah, again, if you want to fully get all the shadow Pokemon, you do have to get that Shackle. And even if it was something cool, I would be less insulted.
I have no problem with Shuckle.
It's okay for a standard Pokemon that you can just catch fucking anywhere. But when you got it takes you 2.5 hours to have an attempt at getting one, it is not worth that. You're enjoying this too much, aren't you?
The fact that a Shuckle's caused you this much frustration.
Well, I was getting every other shadow Pokemon. I'm not gonna just pass up one of them, am I? Even the final shadow Pokemon you can get is nowhere near that much grief. Although that is still kind of a dick move in its own part, because the final trainer that has this final shadow Pokemon, most of their Pokemon are about level 65 to 68, around that sort of time. But his shadow Pokemon is a Togetic. It's level 20, and remember, you have to kind of weaken it to have a chance of catching it. Or in my case, I just paralysed it and then wasted a fuck ton of Pokeballs trying to get lucky. But you're prepped to be battling level 65 Pokemon, but there's this one that you can't knock out, because if you do it, you're gonna have to do it again. That is so fucking irritating.
Well, she's losing.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I have Blastoise, fuck you.
Gotta love Mega Blastoise.
Yeah,
I especially love how Dragon Pulse works for it in the anime.
Oh, do tell.
It shoots out essentially energy dragons out of each of its cannons. They then merge into one giant dragon.
Oh yeah, I do remember
Yes.
you telling me about that actually. What that makes me think of is the final power-up you get in the first God of War, where all the spirits come out of Kratos and just go and attack the enemies on screen. That is actually really cool. God of War 1, it has problems, but the cool parts are really cool. It's just a shame that a lot of it is very clunky.
In a dream Pokemon game, I wish they could put that stuff in to not just the anime but into here, or just have moves that are different on different Pokemon.
Yeah, I feel like that. It sounds cool in theory. It might be a bit of a
work.
Yeah.
Well, it's that, and it might be a bit of a clusterfuck in terms of the meta, which Pokemon already is a clusterfuck in terms of the meta, but I did.
And a lot of them would end up functioning the same, so it's what would be the point?
Yeah, I did hear that apparently at one point in Sword and Shield's development they were considering making changes to the typical turn-based battle system, and I will say I don't want that. I like Pokemon as a turn-based RPG. I know action RPGs tend to be a lot more popular these days than they were, and some games do it well. Some games are Final Fantasy 15, which I like even though no one else does.
My brother likes it.
I think it's fun. It's very incomplete feeling. Like, that is the big criticism, and the amount of DLC that they added after the fact just to kind of patch it up shows that. But like the story itself is cool. Like the gameplay, it's basic but cool. Have you ever played it yourself?
No, I haven't. I mean, a couple of times I've thought to myself, when the opportunity has been in front of me numerous times, but it's never really come to mind.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, I would say give it a shot, even if you're not completely sold, because like I just gave it a shot. I think I got it on sale because it was on Steam at one point. And like the PC version, I will say is jank as fuck. Like, this is just a thing. Like, when you're making a game for any system, there's a thing called optimization, where you realise that actually these people don't have industrial workstations, so we should actually make it work on the consumer PC. And Square Enix decided, nah, fuck it. And so this thing, if you go into a dungeon and there's too many enemies, it chugs. Like, I know for a fact it's not my computer. Most games I can get my computer to run at over 120 FPS. This game struggles to make 30 during some of the dungeons, which is kind of a problem even on modest settings. But like, in terms of other RPGs, Stephen, you've been playing Xenoblade 2 recently, haven't you?
Yes, I finished it
you finished
the other day. Yeah, I finished it yesterday.
What do you think of it on the whole?
On the whole, it's a good game. I liked it a lot more than I expected to, because looking at like the footage of it, I didn't think the gameplay looked particularly engaging. But in the end, I actually found it quite enjoyable. The downsides of it was the fact that while I did enjoy the gameplay, the game itself is awful at explaining how to play it. It's like, it makes it sound a lot more complicated than it actually is. God, you get tutorials way up to the 6th chapter, and that's 6 out of 10 chapters.
That's amazing. That makes me think of that one tutorial level in Unleashed for the light dash that they give you like 4 hours into the game.
It's astonishing. It's like, yes, there are a couple of tutorials that pop up near to the end, but that's when you get like these special power-ups that are story-based.
Where it's like a new thing.
Like, yeah, we're going to explain this briefly.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I don't know, I've kind of been interested in that. Like, I remember playing a fair bit into the first Xenoblade on the Wii, which I managed to get one of like 5 copies that they made.
I think the reason I didn't really get into Xenoblade 1 was partly due to the controls. I wasn't too mad about the Wii controller.
Well, I remember playing with the classic controller, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Like, I will probably give that another shot when the remaster comes out, because that remaster does look really cool.
Oh yeah, after playing...
Well, remake, it's not remaster.
After playing Xenoblade 2, I definitely got more of a urge to play it, yeah.
Yeah, like, I have heard very mixed things about X. I still think they should probably port that over to the Switch at some point.
I've heard the battle music in it. And that's a thing.
It certainly is. Like, I heard that one song that everyone memes on.
Yeah.
It sounds fine when it's starting up and you got the guitars and you think, okay, this is cool. Then they get the Kill la Kill rapper in.
It's terrible.
It really fucking is. Like,
I had no clue what. It's like, the game always looked quite nice to me. I thought, this looks fun. But then, like, a couple of years later, when I hear the music, I'm like, oh, I would have killed myself if that was going on all the time. Yeah,
like, it's one thing just to hear this song on YouTube and laugh at it. It's another to be, like, spending hours on end battling guys with that going on.
Yeah, because Xenoblade 2, there's a lot of tracks that are repeated, but they're all good tracks. They're all very good.
I will say the first Xenoblade has a fucking amazing soundtrack. Like, I actually have a copy of the soundtrack album, and like, there's the overall themes sound really good, like they really pummel in the atmosphere, and there's the one battle theme, the You All Know Our Names. That is such a fucking
great.
jam. I love that
Love
so
that
much.
one when it comes up in Smash.
Oh yeah, like 'cause they got a few Xenoblade tracks in Smash, didn't they? Like,
Yeah, only the one map, but
well, like they got the obvious pick for a
Yeah.
location. I feel like some of the locations that people would like are kind of also a little bit spoilery from what I recall, so that's probably why they dodged
fair
that.
enough.
But like, yeah, it's amusing to me that they didn't get any representation for X in Smash Ultimate.
Well, I do like Xenoblade 2. There are just so many problems that niggled away at it all the way through that it's really soured the enjoyment of it.
Yeah, I get where you're coming
I mean, the character designs is a massive drop-off for me.
Oh, I like them.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, but it's a
anime.
massive drop-off compared to the Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
from. That is fair.
Because
I would say.
that has a slight more distinct aesthetic to it. It's
got-
like, yes, it is anime, but each of the characters actually look unique.
It's more muted anime, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas 2 is just, it embraces anime.
Yeah, and it ends up going in the worst direction when it embraced the anime, sadly. I mean, for goodness sake, the majority... Because, like, your weapons in the game are people. That, in a sense, it's like you get people or animals or a mixture or whatever. But it's like, they're called blades, despite some of them being guns. But yeah, they're all called blades, and the mass majority of them are female, and that wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for the fact that the mass majority
I'm
of
going to cut you
them-
off here and just say Stephen hates women, everyone.
Shut up,
Stephen
you know
hates
that's
women
not
in
the
his
problem.
games.
I hate you.
I know where you get that, yeah. They got
The
big...
mass majority of the female characters are extremely sexualized. And I hate that. It detracts because it's like, this character's meant to be taken seriously. This is one of the main characters in it. But look at her from behind, and she looks naked.
Yeah?
Even from the front, it's like, why are you even wearing anything when it's moulded to the shape of your body?
So, the thing is, like, I don't have an issue with fan service. Like, I like fan service. I will be first to admit that. I do recognise though that there's kind of a time and a place for that sort of thing.
I don't have a problem with fan service. I like it when it's used in a comedic
Yeah.
fashion, typically.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that it's plastered everywhere.
Well, see,
throughout the
like,
game.
this is quite a complex topic because, like, I know that there's different approaches people have to criticising fan service, and there's one that I really don't like, which is the idea of it shouldn't be there, take it out. I don't feel like that's right, because that's like, if it's an artist's intent to have like sexual content in their product, I respect that. Like, that is a valid art form, and I don't like this. It's like a trying to be feminist kind of approach now. That's like any sexualization of women shouldn't be there. I disagree with that. I feel like if the criticism is that it's a tonal clash, I can respect that. I don't necessarily agree a lot of the time, because I just see that anime is like this separate thing, like a separate world where, you know, there's gonna be titty jiggles, there's gonna be upskirts. That's just part of the anime world. Like, it doesn't faze me, but I can at least respect that there's some sincere criticism of it out there. But like, I don't know, it's something that I'm not really comfortable talking about, because a lot of the criticism of that is disingenuous. You know, like, and I hate that that's become part of the conversation now, the fact that you can't really talk about certain things because so many people will just jump on it.
It's like, my problem with it more so is the fact that you go from what Xenoblade Chronicles 1 looks like and X, and they've got a very similar aesthetic to them.
I don't
and
know,
then
X is a lot more
It's a
washed
bit-
out, I would say. Not in a bad way,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's like got darker colour
Yes.
tones to it.
But then there's some good, there's like far more similarities between them than there is to 2. Because like suddenly it then jumps to this over exaggeration of things. And it's like, why? You had something good here. You had something good right here in front of you. Why did you have to then do this.
Yeah, well, it's a different approach, isn't it? And I know it's not going to be for everyone, but still.
I mean, it's like, I admit, by the end of the game, I did like Pyro and Mithra. I thought they were nice characters. They're not brilliant, but they were nice enough. But of course, I hate their designs. I could not get over their designs. I mean, Mithra's not that bad. She's actually okay. But Pyra is just hilarious to look at. Like, every time I see her, I'm just like...
Alright, let's get back on topic here, because we've taken out the Elite Four, which are a lot of nothing, so that's why we just sort of went off topic here. But the champion of this game, we've met her like once or twice. This is Diantha, and she's a bit like, not too well received. And that, I don't think she's a bad character. They just should have done a lot more with her during the main story before we got here, I think.
In essence, then she is a bad character.
Well, no, because her design is okay. She's an actress, and she's got the wacky outfit, and it feels weird that they've got her focused quite not explicitly but quite heavily on fairies when we've already had a fairy gym.
I also don't like the fact that her image is very relaxed. It feels more like battling a typical trainer.
Well, there is the whole idea of if you're confident in what you're doing, then you got that bit more.
Yeah, I know, but say Cynthia, where it was she felt very powerful, and that was just a sprite.
Yeah, but was that just because she's got that more mature look to her?
Probably.
Let's go through the champions actually of the series. So the first one was the rival Blue.
Yeah, he's fine. He's suitable. He did his job. It was throughout the entire game, he's antagonising you. So it's when he beats you to being the champion, it's right, I'm gonna tear your world down right here.
And then he gets owned.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think of Blue, mate?
Wasn't it sort of Lance as well?
That was in Gen 2.
Next one.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, well, Blue's alright, yeah. Then you got Lance. He looks more like a intimidating. He looks like a standard, end of the game boss, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's cooler. You could sort of bring up a similar argument against Lance in the fact that we don't really see much of him in the Gen 2 story. His entries, his places he shows up are more substantial than Diantha.
Yeah, but he actually is more active in the story than Diantha, because Lance actually, in a sense, assists you with taking down a Team Rocket base.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a lot more substantial than her, where she shows up in a cafe and has a chat.
Yeah,
wonderful.
And then later on, it's that's right, it was her who was the champion. And you're like, really?
Yeah, it's a bit underwhelming.
I get that she's famous, apparently. I might have heard that once or twice, but...
Yeah.
Really? This person right here?
Yeah, but the other point of this, if she's a big actress and she's really popular and doing all these films and shows and shit...
You'd think she was plastered all over the place.
There's that. Plus also, if she's also a champion Pokemon trainer... Where does she get this much fucking time on her hands?
Yeah, she's at a cafe and she's alone.
Yeah, she would be swarmed by fucking fans, wouldn't she?
It's that's right, the champion's here. Where? She's right over here.
The one with a stupid costume. Oh, I thought she was a random cosplayer.
To be fair, people in the Pokemon world, they look very similar.
Well, not the NPCs. You look in the cafe and there's her and a load of bog stand, maybe a hiker and people like that. So she's gonna stand out wherever the fuck she goes. But still, so we've got Lou and Lance, Steven from Gen 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He shows up several times. He owns a company.
Well, he's he doesn't own the company. He's just gonna inherit it, I assume. But he was okay. He had the steel type, which was kind of impressive. Chris, what do you think of him?
He seems like Lance, but a bit more watered down, more a smarter version, or I don't know.
He's less upfront, but he still has that intimidating vibe.
Yeah.
And I feel
compared to
that's gonna be the same thing for everyone. But Stephen, he's an okay champion. I would say that he's probably a better pick for champion than Wallace in Emerald. Because Wallace, like, he only really shows up toward the end in Satopolis. He gets a bit more of a... He actually gets a more interesting story when he's not the champion in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, because he shows up near the Spear Pillar again, doesn't he? In the Delta episode. So that's a lot cooler than him just standing there after doing nothing.
Oh look, Mega Gardevoir.
Yeah, this is her signature Pokemon, the Gardevoir.
And it's about to get destroyed by a Meteor Mash.
High pitch.
Yeah, that was pathetic.
That is a good summary of this Pokemon League,
yeah,
right there.
This is Mega Gardevoir. One of the best Mega Evolutions.
Yeah.
Extremely powerful. You'd be stupid to let it set up any calm minds on that, and it's dead.
Yeah. Gardevoir can be a beast. So I completely wiped the final Elite Four member, the Dragon Guy in Emerald, just by using, like, I think I set up like 4 calm minds, then I just like swept the whole team with Psychic. Like, Gardevoir is like badass if you use it right, but she didn't stand a chance. But yeah, so we've got the rival from Gen 1, we've got Lance from Gen 2, we've got Stephen and Wallace from Gen 3. Gen 4 was Cynthia. She's okay. Like, she's one of the most powerful champions by far. And that in itself
number of
is
times.
Impressive. Yeah. So, like, I'm not too fond on her design like everyone else is, but
I think it's really good design.
yeah, I don't know, like...
It's simplistic, but also emanates power.
Yeah, I kind of get you, but, like, she's so to me. Like, her power is really respectable. She's a great champion. Design, not so much. That's my kind of meet in the middle stance.
Why is she so powerful?
She's just got a really strong team.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
Like, she's got quite a mixed team from what I recall. Like, I know her signature one is the Garchomp.
Yeah, Garchomp, Spiritomb, Rose Raid. She's got a Lucario. There's 2 other. I think she's got a Milotic.
Yeah, I think she has actually.
There's one other I can't remember.
I can't remember. Save me life.
But I'm sure it was a pain in the arse.
Let's speed through this now because we're running low on time. So, Older from Gen 5. He's cool. He's it seems like a bit of a douche. Like, he's got the whole flirting with everyone thing that Brock's got, except he's an old man, so it's a lot creepier. Yeah. His team, I can't actually remember.
He's old, but
he's older than Brock. He's a grown man.
But yeah, he's fine. He's got a decent enough team. Yeah, there's a moment which suggests that one of his Pokemon is dead and he goes to its grave every once in a while.
I can't actually remember what his team was.
It might have been a Volcarona that died. Maybe. Why is it all the Pokemon are circled around you like they're about to be...
We're the bait.
Yeah, you're taking all the glory, are you?
So we get a little celebration here, but let's just power through. We've got Iris in Black and White 2. Again, like, can't remember much about her because I didn't play that myself.
It's sort of a similar case to Wallace, really. It's like Final Gym.
She's there.
She gets upgraded because the previous champion's like, let someone else fill in.
Yeah. And then, obviously, we got Diantha here, who we just talked about. We've got in Gen 7, you got in Sun and Moon, you get the Professor Kukui.
Yes, I love that.
That is a cool, like, confrontation. Yeah, it's his league, he owns the league.
Yeah, because it's a brand new league.
Like, that was fantastic, and in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon you get Howl, which is just the rival again.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much our summary there.
Worse.
Yeah. Now, what we got here, our ending sequence, I think this is honestly really sweet. I like the fact that it's animated, like, separate from the game. Like, it's still in-game animation, but, you know...
Why are the others there? It's not their ceremony.
No, but we played them because they're our friends. Well, they also did help us take down Team Flare.
I guess.
But this is a little bit of a twist that we're going to have in this game, in the fact that we have one more battle before the end of the game.
Why is AZ looking over into the crowd?
Well, because there's a big crowd there and they're wondering why this guy is like 40 foot tall.
That is the question. How is he so big? maybe 3,000 years you grow that year.
Yeah. So yes, this is like the conclusion to the story, and I do like that there is this just to kind of wrap it up. You get a similar kind of thing in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire when you rematch either May or Brendan, but
I love the way he throws out his Pokeball. He's just like, go, I guess. Well, he didn't even really move his wrist. He just went, just flexed his fingers.
he's an old man. His bones are going by like
3,000 years old. He's been in his middle age for a very long time.
no. He's shown to have aged at least somewhat substantially, hasn't he? Like. This battle, I will say, there's not too much to say because it is very easy. Like it's deliberately done like that way, so you're not going to lose it. If you've beat the league, you can beat it.
3,000 years to beat the best trainer in the world. You got 3 Pokemon and they're level 60.
Oh, to be fair, did all the others leave him when he set off a nuke?
Well, it was his only Pokemon was a Floette.
Yeah. But like, he's got a reputation now of just randomly destroying shit.
Yeah, but he feels bad about it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of war criminals feel bad about it. Don't change the fact that they've killed people.
It was centuries ago. Can't you find it in your heart to forgive him for killing your ancestors? Oh God.
No, see, the thing is, like, he did all this shit, and that was bad, but his biggest crime was that he made a racist joke on Twitter in 2008, so we're gonna cancel him outright.
I like the fact that 2 out of his 3 Pokemon are ancient in some way. He's got Golurk and Sigilif, but then there's Torkoal that's there.
Torkoal looks old. Yeah, it's a rock
I
type.
guess because it's a turtle.
Yeah, because turtles live for fucking ever,
Yeah, I
don't they?
guess.
So it makes sense.
Wait, so how long has he had that Torkoal?
Yeah, that's a good point. Did he have that back in the day? The Torkoal hasn't noticed about the whole new thing yet. Oh, that would be best if he had a Slowpoke. Slowpoke just lets itself out of the ball now, and you did what?
Why am I only hearing about this now? I need to warn Floette.
Yeah, about that.
Well, you see, Slowpoke. What? God, I wish Slowpoke had shown up in Detective Pikachu now. I would have loved to have seen some sort of skit done with that.
But here we go. Let's not laugh over the actually quite sweet ending here. This is his Pokemon coming back.
Eternal Floette.
Yeah.
The event Pokemon that never got released.
Yeah. But like, I know this has become the meme. We're going to see the line in a minute. But in context of the game, this is honestly really touching. Yeah. I do like this scene a lot. Here we go.
It's been 3,000 years, then copy paste whatever image you want in place of Floette.
Yeah. I think this is a beautiful ending, and I think that'll also do us for the Pokemon Y main game. So join us next time where we'll be starting on the post-game coverage. We'll be looking at the style points in Lumio City. We'll be going to the post-game exclusive Keylud City. We'll be looking for some more legendary Pokemon, and then we'll be doing the final post-game quest with Looker. So we will see you then. For now, we've been FlameHisWorld, and this is Pokemon Y. Bye bye for now.